Since we started this podcast in 2019, one variety of music has been strangely absent. We've spoken to artists making folk, rock, hip-hop, electronic, jazz, funk, blues, and almost everything in between. But we've never talked to someone releasing a Christmas record. This is Kingston Live, and today all that changes. Celtic music has held its place in the patchwork of Canadian musical heritage since Irish and Scottish peoples settled in the East Coast. And here in town, that tradition is carried proudly by Celtic Kitchen Party. As the name implies, the rotating band channels the frenetic, joyous energy of a traditional kitchen party wherever they play. And that same energy is captured in their latest record, One Celtic Christmas. But this isn't the collection of songs you might expect from a Christmas record.
So the Christians and the pagans sat together at the table, finding faith in common ground, the best that they were able. And just before the meal was served, hands were held and prayers were said, sending hope for peace on earth to all their gods and goddesses.
The album features a mix of traditional Canadian carols, contemporary holiday tracks, and even a few originals, all served with the fiddles, bagpipes, and harmonies you'd expect from Celtic music. Riley and Peter sit down with guitarist and frontman Andrew Vanhorn to talk about the value of holiday music and how he brings the energy of a kitchen party to a show.
This is the Kingston Live podcast. Andrew Vanhorn joining us from Celtic Kitchen Party. Tell us, how are you? What's going on?
I'm great. I'm super glad to be here. Obviously here pushing our Celtic Christmas CD. Glad to be excited about that and love talking about the band. You know, we want to get some bodies out to shows and I'm already having fun sitting with you two here. So yeah.
Pleasure to have you here.
Hey, great to be here.
So speaking
One of my second things I like to do if I'm not playing, I like to talk on podcasts.
It's the next best thing to a show.
The next best thing. It's like, I got to keep putting out new stuff maybe, you know, then I can keep doing this. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't want to see me in a year if I got nothing new to say, would you?
I think that's actually the advantage of making a Christmas album is that you can just be the next year and be like, hey, I'm here again.
This is it. So Colin Skinner, he's the tin whistle bagpipe player, and he's like, hey, it comes every year, right? So we're excited. He's always wanted to do it. So okay, we'll do it, you know. Over the pandemic, we did 3 albums, like 2019, 2020. Remember the pandemic?
Oh, wait, what was...
Did you live through that?
Was that a...
I heard about it.
Yeah,
Who
made that record?
It was
this
phenomenon.
Cough, cough. And so, you know, life shut down. But we did these 3 albums. We did a Song of a Month club, and people could sign up. So it was our first experience with this patron idea, you know. So we released 3 CDs. But I was pretty tired over that. But he's like, no, Christmas album. And so he said he would produce it, along with Jeremy Daw, a local fella. So they did a great job, I think, of this album. And I was glad to sing on it and play guitar. And you know, maybe we'll keep at it, you know, but that's why the album's out. Because, yeah, and he also did mention, you know, every year Christmas comes, you know, so it's something we celebrate every year.
Are you a big Christmas guy?
I am a Christmas guy. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Are you, Riley?
I'm like, well, you know what, that actually leads me into one of my questions. See, there's parts of Christmas I really love, and then, you know, there's the parts that drive everybody crazy about, like, the shopping and the hustle and the yada, yada, yada.
Maybe, or something?
Yeah, exactly. But when I was listening to the album, there was one line in your version of Auld Lang Syne that really caught my attention and really brought like those Christmas feelings back. And the line goes, "There is a pub in Old Kingstown where friends are never far, and we'll pull up a stool to the bar and remember for a while." I'm going to put you on the spot because that's a great Christmas imagery to me. I think everybody has that of like going home to your hometown or coming back to Kingston if you've left or whatever, and you just go to your local, and then like everyone you've ever known is there, or people you haven't seen in years and years are there, and you all just like reconnect through the spirit of Christmas. What is that bar for you?
Yeah, I was just anticipating that question. Yeah, I went to McMaster University for 3 years, ended up loving Hamilton, but I would come back, and I think it was like the Brass or the Grizzly. So I'm like 47, you know, so that was about that time, you know, Chris was still playing Smitty, you know, this idea. Those were my places that I would come back to Kingston, you know, and sort of just see everyone, like you said, that had left.
I feel like that's the magic of Christmas. Yeah, because everybody's got a story like that. You go back to your hometown bar, and then somebody from your hometown that you haven't talked to in forever is there, and all of a sudden you just wind up like drinking till 2 a.m. together and just like catching up. It's amazing.
It's perfect. I love that song, just the nostalgia, but the idea about pouring a beer out, which is in cultures, where like if we were celebrating one of our friends passing, he's not there, that chair's empty for him, and we all have a beer, but we take one and we pour it out for him. So that line's in there. So we had some fun with the lyrics. So glad you liked that one.
Absolutely.
Old Lang Syne,
I love that there's officially like a Kingston Christmas song. It's like finally happened. So thank you for putting that one together.
The Christmas Down in Kingstown.
Yes.
That one, nice.
Yeah, that's a great track.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. We put that together. It was a few years ago. We played going down Princess Street on the trolley.
Nice.
So everyone's out there cold, and we're on this warm trolley, playing. My wife was on deck there, and she's just loving waving. It was very addictive, waving to people. People can't see, but I'm waving, and the guys are like,
yeah, I wish we had a way to show people your face right there.
Exactly.
It was priceless.
She was very excited. So it was very upset when we didn't do it. In fact, we couldn't do the Christmas parade this year because we were playing Grey Cup.
Oh, that's amazing. How did that go?
It was great. It was on Friday at the Hamilton Convention Center. Great party. It was the Eastern Social House, so Tie Cats, Argonauts, and I guess the Riders there in Ottawa. Yeah. So.
And you mentioned that you had been a McMaster University guy, spent some time in Hamilton. Was that kind of like a second homecoming for you in a way, being able to go back to Hamilton for the Grey Cup?
Yeah, a bit. We didn't get a chance too much to sort of hang around, but I do like going back to Hamilton, I did a lot of improv comedy there and that sort of stuff, a lot of commercials. I did acting on some TV stuff, and I didn't like being poor, so I gave that up. But yeah, Hamilton, nostalgic a bit, yeah. Home away from home for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You briefly touched on how the album came to be.
Yeah.
But I feel like the idea of making a Christmas record is, I think Riley can also speak to this. It has this element of like, it's rare for a Christmas record to be like the first thought. It's like, okay, no, we're definitely got to make a Christmas album. Like a lot of groups, it's like something you come along to, or
There's
you
not
make
many
all
Christmas
the time.
groups per se.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
So like, what brought you to the decision to make a Christmas record?
I don't know. It's just like, I hate to say it, like, there's the commercial aspect, I suppose, from it, but I do really enjoy Christmas. And so does Colin and Jeremy, though. I think he's the one that was most excited. We got to do this, And in fact, like last year, he gifted me, he plays bagpipes, and he just gifted me these instrumentals. And he's like glowing, so happy, And I just thought nothing of it. I loved it. I said, thank you. And then, a year later, he's like, we should turn these into an album. You have to just sort of say that it is sort of a commercial thing, I was talking about being poor there as an actor and this and that, and I was doing a lot of originals, and you don't really get a lot of money at some of these shows, if it's like Broom Factory, our local place here in Kingston, and you're paying for the cover. Well, sometimes we would drive 2 hours to play to an empty house, and I can do that here, I would say, But the Celtic music, I fell in love with this Celtic style, and there was some commercial success in that. There's a whole genre out there. It's not just St. Patrick's Day, so we were kept busy like 365 days of the year, and we do a lot of originals, and you'll hear some. I don't think we have any on the album there, the Christmas album, but like I said, we have lots of music. But we started to get paid, and that was exciting. Okay, as a musician, to start to get paid. So I said, you hate to say commercial, but it was an opportunity. Sometimes the disaster, you put all your time and effort into an album, no one hears it, they say. But I think people are going to hear this, I think people do love Christmas. It's not dead. So that's why it's exciting to do this. And that's why I think everyone does a Christmas album, because it sells. So I think it's probably an honest answer that commercially seems viable.
Absolutely.
Boo.
I was saying to
Riley doesn't like commercialism.
There's the corporatism of Christmas, man.
I knew it.
Yep.
I was
Furious.
saying to Pete earlier that I think this is the first album we've had on the podcast that on my listen through, I thought, oh, my grandma would go bananas for this.
And I like that.
Yeah, it's one of those albums that you just know, like, it works so well for exactly the setting you set out for, which is, Christmas and gatherings and homecoming and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's lively, it's energetic. One of my quotes, like, get ready to bear hug the untraditional, or some sort of line I had, these are like Jingle Bells. This is not a traditional version, this is kind of a different, so I think you're going to love it for those that love Celtic music, but it's a fun romp, high energy, and we got that Moxie Fruva song on there, huge on the luge. That's what drew me a lot to the Celtic music, is the comedy, beer drinking, party. Not that people would be, no, it's not all that, but those are big aspects of St. Pat, Celtic music, East Coast is the, arm waving. So the album's like that, the Christmas album. And I agree that it's intergenerational. Actually, a lot of our crowds are older.
Actually, since you mentioned Moxie Fruvis, one thing that really stood out to me about the album is that a lot of these song picks are not the kinds that you would necessarily expect to see on a Christmas album.
Yeah,
like
fair.
You've got a Stan Rogers track on there.
Yeah.
You've got Moxie Fruvis. Like there's a lot of Canadiana, also that Huron carol, which
Yeah, absolute. And
incredible.
wasn't familiar with that, like based on the indigenous culture of the Huron carol. I didn't know about it. That goes way back, 1800s or something like that. So it's really beautiful. I got 6 tracks from Colin, and he's lovely, and they were sort of maybe just straight-laced, just sort of straight, because he was just playing the bagpipes, so a verse chorus, and I thought the album would be like that until Jeremy got his hands on Jingle Bells and made this wonderful arrangement. It's kind of in a sad E minor. It's like you're longful but excited, and then Huron carols, Brian Flynn actually singing on that, and it's a great arrangement. And Drunken Santa, and I did a little thing with the Little Piper Man, or Little Piper Boy, so instead of Little Drummer Boy. So that was exciting to have 4 different people involved in this project to make it sound totally unexpected. So it was exciting for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it wasn't not boring, I don't think. So maybe you, the listeners, can judge for yourselves, check it out. But
Absolutely.
even just like looking at the tracks, like if you open it on like Spotify and you just reviewed the tracks, you're like, man, okay, I know 2 of these. Where is this going? And it's like, it's exciting to do that because I feel like that's very typical to start a Christmas album and be like, okay, yeah, we got the standards here.
Yeah.
Let's go. It's a new flavor of Christmas.
no, I appreciate that, Maybe people will be like, hey, you got to do another one.
You get Last Christmas on the next one.
Yeah,
Finally, that George
exactly.
Michael cover.
Thank you. There you go. Yeah, wham. I recently did a podcast. I was saying like it was the Irish Celtic podcast all throughout the world, this and that, But he fell in love with the Christians and the pagans. And he's like, who did that song? I says, Dar Williams from your country, sir. So she's from the States. And I just love that song, The only thing burning are the pies. When you have, Christians and the pagans sitting together. So that on many levels is deep.
Yeah, that's
Smart.
a great track.
Yeah.
I forget
Such a
exactly.
good line.
That is different, right? Like I've never heard that before. I had been singing it, by the way, for as long as I've been playing music, by the way, in Hamilton. People love it, but people don't know it. Christians and the pagans. Great little tune.
Yeah, is there one in particular you'd like us to throw in?
So Jingle Bells is an amazing arrangement. I mean, I'm no help to you. You're going to have to decide. John will decide. But like Huron Carol's really great. And then that Christians and the Pagans, there's something about that one. But if you're just doing one, Huron, I suppose, because it really emphasizes the fiddle and everything.
Huron Carol's a cool pick, given that it's the original Canadian Christmas song.
Yeah.
And I feel like I didn't know of it at all until the album. So
Nice.
I think there's a cool opportunity there.
Yeah, no, exactly. I hadn't heard it either till he did, and I thought it was just, I don't know what I was expecting, but what came out is great. The energy of that song,
Was in the moon of winter time when all the birds had fled. That mighty Gidgee Manitou sent angel choirs instead. Before their light, the stars grew dim, and wandering hunters heard the hymn. infant there. The chiefs from far before him knelt with gifts of fur and beaver hair. Jesus, your King is born. Jesus is born in excelsis gloria. Oh, children of the forest free, oh, sons of Manitou, the holy child of earth and heaven is born today for you. Come kneel before the radiant boy who brings you beauty, peace, and joy. Jesus, your King is born. Jesus is born in excelsis
Thank you for listening to Kingston Live. Be sure to subscribe on your platform of choice and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. For more great Kingston music, check out the Kingston Live playlist on Spotify. For show listings, artist info, and all things Kingston music, check out kingstonlive.ca.
You kind of touched on the culture of Celtic music earlier and talking about how there's a party and there's revelry and all of this.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite things about Celtic music. I find it so fascinating, especially, the concept of a kitchen party isn't just, Celtic Kitchen Party, the band name. Yeah. A kitchen party is like a real thing that goes down where people will show up and just jam in a kitchen. And I find there's this magic of Celtic music where if you go to an open mic night anywhere where it's just, play whatever song you feel like, people get intimidated and they won't play. But Celtic music, you can have somebody who's literally never touched an instrument before and they'll be like, I'm in this jam now. Like, this is happening.
That I love, exactly. They've got the drum, they've got the spoons, tickety-tickety, and they're a part of it. And Celtic is truly that way. One of the bands that opened up for us there at Great Cup, excellent, tight, heavy, like a Weezer kind of sound, People were all rocking heads and just love it. And I was impressed, But when we get on, it doesn't matter if it's a little loose and it's fun. No one was dancing. They're all doing this head thing, But as soon as we get on, people are throwing themselves all over the place, spinning, dropping out. One guy was doing, this 80-year-old was doing cartwheels.
Oh, awesome.
So revelry, and people would be, it's not all just drinking and revelry, this and that. It's the instrumentation of Celtic music. Tin whistles, bar-on, fiddles, bagpipes, accordions. Our band has all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty diverse.
It's very accessible in that way too.
Yeah, true. Accessible to a lot of different people, and there's a lot of different styles, slow, fast. But I like how you said that anyone can join into the kitchen party. About that name, people ask, where does the name come from? The Celtic Kitchen Party. Well, it's based on that. It's the ensemble. We have a kind of a group where we have a couple different drummers, a couple fiddle players, this and that. So if someone can't make a show, we kind of pull them in like a roster. The only time it gets weird is when, say, we played a show at Old Fort Henry. The Old Fort Henry's having a kitchen party featuring the Celtic Kitchen Party. So that's only when it's just a little weird with the name. But the name is exactly what we are, right? Party, kitchen, ensemble. Show up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It works so well.
Yeah, I'm glad we like that, yeah. Yeah, we're keeping busy. I don't know, we've been at 10 years or something silly.
And you're staying very busy. You've got a ton of shows coming up in the month of December.
Calendar is kind of exciting,
Yeah.
In fact, Colin there, he's like, no more. So we're all, dads, spouses, kids, and generally day jobbers. But it's more than just a hobby. It's a glorified hobby, throwing a lot of money. And we're getting calls to play the Grey Cup and cool little things like that. I like to say we play from Ottawa to Toronto and sometimes Iqaluit. So we went up there one time.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. Rock and roll. We flew in, came back.
What's a venue in Iqaluit like?
Exactly. It was for an animal fundraiser, and we played at the Frobisher Inn. So it was just like you can imagine any kind of a wedding that books, say, your banquet hall. But yeah, it was very white. A lot of government, a lot of women, that were all up there, because they have a lot of government up there, But we only got the tour the next day. A retired RCMP officer took us around, so I got to see the Husky parking lot. We're talking about 100 dog houses in a field. They're all chained up, and don't feel bad. They're ready to go. They're just chilling, waiting for their job. And then we go by the. Have you ever seen Nothing But Trouble by Dan Aykroyd? The drive-through dump.
Oh yeah.
You drove through. We're talking piles, and the crows were like the size of half of me. So we saw all the sights, but good people there. But it was cold.
When you said the Husky parking lot, I pictured like a Husky gas station parking lot.
That's exactly what I was
thrilling first stop.
Yeah, I know.
It took me a second. I was like, wait, no, these are
He's
dogs.
talking about Husky dogs.
This is way more fun than what we're picturing.
Yeah. Do not go up and pet the Huskies,
Yeah.
But so just odd things like that, But no, it was a normal party. It was a fundraiser for the animal shelter. They have a Husky animal shelter up there, so kind of bizarre to bring us, but they had the budget. They loved us, and that's part of quoting. I'm like, well, you pay X amount of dollars, okay.
They'll get you up there. Why not?
Yeah, you guys will do most anything too, right? I could hire you for your wedding, couldn't I?
Hell yeah.
Of course.
I will do anything for money.
There you go, right?
If you want Riley and I to talk about ghosts at any wedding, we will happily do it for hours.
Does it usually dive into ghosts? I got ghost songs.
It's happened a few times.
Pretty much every time.
Enough for you to know ghosts might get
and
brought
tunnels.
up.
Yeah, I can feel John right now, like his finger over the mute button.
Yeah. At 13:12, they talk about ghosts.
Yeah. We're over that one.
I mean, you guys do play a lot at the Tiernanog, which is famously potentially haunted. Have you seen any ghosts in the crowd?
No, I haven't. I recently took that tour, though, that haunted walk tour. Have you done that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Back to non-ghost topics.
Back to the land of the
Yes.
living.
You mentioned the energy that comes out in your shows and the cartwheeling grandpa, for
it's
example.
great, yeah.
How
It's like they're invited to go crazy a little,
Yeah. Is there anything you try to do or you feel that you do to cultivate that?
Well, we have these little traditions that first started at Tiernanog, where you shout out sociable and you raise your pint in the air. So they were big fans of that, And I realized that the spirit of Edmonton, so the Edmonton team, they have a mascot called Sociable. So this word is around. So we encourage that. Sometimes we would do this, the old spot dances, because we're a little older, are we? Remember spot dances? No? I do. Anyways, people dance, we throw out CDs and stuff like that. I don't know, it's just things like that to encourage the participation, from the audience, But yeah, sociable drink. So the Celtic stuff can be anything. I mean, we have the full band, we have a bit of volume. The show that's coming up, we've got the electric guitar as well, so there's 6 of us. But we can also bring it right down to 2 of us. On Fridays, Brian Flynn and I, he's the fiddle player, play at the Tiernanog. And someone could very well come up with the spoons. We've had kitchen parties too. I mean, there's a great club in town. It's the Kingston Irish Folk Club with Tony O'Loughlin. He invites that kind of, teaches dance and teaches tin whistle, So I kind of got my start there with him in the Irish roots. And that's more folk, right? Whereas I'd like to say we're more like the Celtic Kitchen Party is more rock, pop. In fact, we play with a fiddle player, Ted Chu, as well. He says, we're getting a bit of a reputation as a party band. I says, I like. It's my idea, sir.
It's right there in the name.
But we can bring it, it's right there in the name. But we can bring it down. We play weddings, we play like the ceremonies, we can do the traditional stuff. But it's true that I like to change it up to more the party way. That's just, I'm fascinated by the party, And that's why I think that's what keeps us busy. People want to dance.
I think that also speaks to the strength of the band and to you as players, too, to be able to adapt so much from going from a 2-piece to a however many people feel like showing up tonight piece to this guy brought some spoons tonight piece.
Old Lang Syne, you said you like that, the version of that. That is sort of a slower traditional, right? So we brought upbeat to 4/4 time, I did that one time to Danny Boy, and this old lady's like, can you play Danny Boy? I'm like, yeah, and I launched into my 4/4 time kicker. And she's like, how'd you like? She's not that way, sir. That's not what I wanted. I think you just have to know your audience. But see, we can do the both ways, the traditional Old Lang Syne or just like the sort of the 4/4 kick beat Mumford and Sons version, which is kind of what, get the bagpipes going.
Hell yeah.
Hells yeah. Yeah.
So glad that there's like bands in town with bagpipes.
There aren't that many, And so one of the tricks there is he had to get, for those that are interested, and the listeners, he had to get a B-flat chanter. It's just a different sort of thing that you can play with a guitarist. So I slap on the capo and it works. If you didn't have that, these bagpipes are on their own frequency. When you have the big groups, the Princess of Wales' own regiment, or just any sort of pipe group they're all tuning to the leader, but who knows what they're at. And so anyways, that's how we solved playing with the band, is this B-flat chanter, and it works. It just sounds really great, you know? And it's rock and roll, you know? So sometimes we do AC/DCs. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll, you know? People love the bagpipes.
I love that the bagpipes are just almost this like alien instrument compared to
It's like a big octopus.
Yeah, it's the weirdest. Like you just think of, you know, okay, it's like.
Do you know what's the difference between bagpipes and onions? Do you know what the difference is?
No, what's the difference?
No one cries when you cut bagpipes.
Okay, my dad's gonna really like that one.
Sorry, I cut you off, but it looks crazy, you know, playing it. And I don't know, not that people. I think there's something. I'm sure everything needs education, but I think the bagpipes might need a few lessons.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like
the guitar, hi, look at me. That's my story.
Well, it's like you always think of the, like, you know, like the difficult starting instruments, like a violin or something. It's like it takes a bit before that starts sounding good.
Well, it's like a year before you get something that's not a screech, maybe. You know?
Yeah. The bagpipes are just something else.
Yeah.
So like. Music with bagpipes is a very particular flavor, and it's like there's nothing that replicates it.
Yeah, no, I agree. The real deal. We play with an accordion player. She has a digital Roland, you know, and people are like, where are those sounds coming? She just grants. So she does play bagpipes on the accordion, but it's not the same. It's a very impressive looking to see this piper come in. And sometimes, you know, I know you're talking about stirring the crowd up. Sometimes we get him to pipe in from behind or pipe into a song. It's a spectacle, you know, I think.
Do you ever get the pipes like in the crowd?
We've had randoms ask if they can pipe with us. Excuse me.
Oh, wow.
You mean some random piper just gotta... No, but usually ahead of time they ask if they can pipe a tune. We're like, yeah, sure. You know, do you have a B-flat chanter?
What kind of hardware are you bringing?
Yeah. We do that. Someone's like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll pick it up.
We've touched a couple times on some upcoming shows, but I don't think we've said anything specific about dates. So lay them on us.
Yeah, I wanted to be specific about this Kingston show. So we're doing a bit of a CD release show. It's Thursday, December 7th at the RCHA. Have you guys been up there? The Royal Canadian Horse Artillery. It's on Ontario. You go through the blue awning and you're up the stairs. Great place for music. They got great blues nights and this and that. And yeah, so we're playing there. It's $20 for tickets. You can get them there at the RCHA Club or online. Maybe if you check out Kingston Live, you'll see some of the links. We are, by the way, on Kingston Live, and there's the ticket link there and that sort of stuff. That's the show I'm really pushing. Saturday is Spearhead Brewery, though, you know. We're in the back room where all the kegs are, you know, where they make the beer. So we're doing a party at Spearhead. And then Sunday we're at Sterling Festival Theatre in the afternoon. Yeah, they love us there. You know, we play up in their upstairs room and usually sells out. So that's our CD release run, you know? Yeah.
Will each of those shows have the pipes or only some?
Yeah. So what's my go-to, I say, you know, the cream, the A1 game here is like I'm on. No one's found a replacement for me yet. Remember I talked about that ensemble? They should. You know, when a wedding comes in on a certain date, I'll get to that answer. But when a wedding comes in on a certain date, if a drummer's not available, we have another drummer, a couple bass players, accordion player, a couple fiddle players. But there is only one bagpiper, Colin Skinner, and yeah, I mean, people ask him, or if we can't make a show, I'd let the people know. I just want to say that it's each show can be a bit different, but usually the client knows what they're getting. But for you that are coming out on the 7th or on Saturday at Spearhead or on the Sunday there, we've got the bagpiper, myself on guitar, we got Brian Flynn on fiddle, wonderful, does a great Devil Went Down to Georgia, this kind of stuff. Mike Kidd on electric guitar, Nathan Crockett on drums, Jeremy Daw on bass. So there's 6 of us. So it's going to be a bit of a nice wall of sound, you know. Usually we play 4 to 5 people, but 6 is going to be great, which you'll hear on the album. You hear all those instruments. So definitely pipes.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Hells yeah.
Cannot wait for it.
We're going to play our number 1 tune, Itchy Fingers.
So stoked for the
number
pipes.
1 tune on Spotify. So, anyways.
We've been talking a bit about shows and different places you've played. Do you play kitchens on occasion?
We have, like, those would be your more intimate sort of birthday parties, you know, an 80th party, 50th, it wouldn't matter. It's really sort of a different range of people. We have literally played in kitchens or living rooms, you know. Sometimes we amplify it just with the voice because that sometimes needs to carry and the guitar, but the fiddle just carries across the room, you know. So yeah, we definitely do those intimate parties, you know, and I'm always handing out the business cards, by the way, and the webpage are really great promotion.
I was going to say
we do private parties, I say, you know.
Yeah.
We do private parties. We do weddings, anniversaries, and funerals, but they're harder to plan for.
Unless you do them real right.
Yeah. I had one lady loved us so much. She said, I didn't get a copy yet, but she said she put us in the will, and so she got a quote. She didn't say, "Are you ready? Are you available on November 3rd?"
In a Iqaluit.
Yeah, Iqaluit, please. But she asked if we do them. I says, yes, we would. They would be the celebration of life, you know. But like I say, we also do, you know, I was about to say respectful, peaceful music, but the celebration of life, clearly. But anyway, so that's kind of an odd request, but we're glad to honor it. So if someone give us a call, yes.
Absolutely. I feel like the funerals need like a headline like that, an attraction.
Yeah.
Because you come out, I mean, I guess the headliner is like, this guy used to be alive and now he's not anymore.
Right.
But like having like a band come out that people want to see, that is like, that's going out with a bang.
Let's get that energy up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think so. I mean, this is, I don't know, a celebration of life wasn't in my like dialogue when I was young, you know. We were doing the very sort of traditional, you know, but the idea of a bar, lively music, some pictures, celebrating, I think that's what I want.
Yeah.
By the way.
I went to a funeral once that had a drinking game, and that was the best funeral I've ever been
That's
to.
what I'm saying. See, you want your funeral to stick in people's memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's give people a reason to, like, you know, remember the personality and less of just like the loss.
Yeah. No, no, because it's brutal, all right? You know, but let's just celebrate him too, you know, or her, yeah.
I really also respect that person's organization. They're like, you know what, I got a thing coming up at some point.
Yeah.
Will you play this?
Yeah. No, I like
Can
that.
I depend on you?
Yeah. That is truly organized, exactly. Book ahead.
For the most organized of us.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got like an event in my iCal on my phone of I've got it planned. I'm going to be struck by lightning on September 30th, 2089. 1 day short of my 100th birthday, because I think that's the funniest way to die.
Yeah.
So if you guys are still, you know, playing around by then, just
That's
open invite.
That's why I thought you were going to go about planning. I thought you were like, you know, going to say like the person who plans their funeral, you know, sort of idea. Yeah. You got to, you know. And then I was going to ask about wills, you know, that's another planning sort of thing, you know, but just to, put us in your will, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Riley, can you send me the iCalendar invite for that one?
Oh, hell yeah, right now.
Right, nice. I'm going to set it as tentative, but we'll see.
Yeah. Not going. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, though.
Yeah. That's funny.
You know, we've all listened to enough Paul McCartney Christmas tracks. It's time for some
I think we need some new stuff.
Yeah, let's get some new tracks here.
I mean, if I did a little rap and stuff, it's just like, hey, I hope that you enjoy One Celtic Christmas by the Celtic Kitchen Party. We've got CDs on our webpage, CelticKitchenParty.com. Clearly, we're streaming everywhere like Spotify, Apple, things like Deezer, Tidal, apps you wouldn't even know exist. So if you're that rare person, we're on there. And thank you for your time, guys. This is fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been Kingston Live. We encourage you to rate us on your listening platform of choice and subscribe where possible. For show listings, artist info, and all things Kingston music, check out kingstonlive.ca. Kingston Live was produced in Kingston by Soundwise. Hosted by Riley Jabour and Peter Sanfilippo. Voiceovers and technical production by John Sanfilippo. Executive producer Rob Howard. Kingston Live is a member of the Canadian Live Music Association. We'd love to hear from you. Email us at podcast@kingstonlive.ca.
Oh, it's been a fun podcast to work on, though.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think the fact that it's pretty informal and it's pretty flexible, you know, we're able to kind of have some fun with it.
Yeah, I love that.
You're allowed to swear if you want.
Yes.
Yes, this can slip out on occasion. Okay, good.
Yeah, swearing is fine. Just don't overdo it.
I don't think anybody's ever sworn too much yet. Jonas has pushed it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's British, so it's charming.
Oh, no, Jonas. Yeah, nice.